Hello and welcome to the Vandy 24/7 podcast presented by FanDuel. I'm your host, Chris Lee. Luke Wyatt is going to be joining us shortly. We'll talk Vanderbilt football, maybe hit some hoops later since we saw that scrimmage last week and haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. But hey, the big topic on everybody's mind, Vanderbilt football. Commodores ranked 10th in the AP poll. They host Missouri for ESPN Game Day in a 2:30 game that has got massive implications, I think, for the program, for the playoff. We have never seen a time like this in my life in Vanderbilt football, and we'll unpack all that shortly with Luke Wyatt. Remind you, our football coverage is presented by former Vandy kicker Joe Bulovas with Bulovas Wealth Management of Raymond James. If there is one thing we all share, it's that our lives are unique. At Raymond James, we believe that is worth celebrating because financial planning isn't just about numbers and figures. It is about creating the life you envision. So whether you're building a future or preparing for retirement, a Raymond James financial advisor can guide you each step of the way, all while following a plan that is uniquely yours. That is life well planned. To hear more, call financial advisor Joe Bulovas with Bulovas Wealth Management of Raymond James. That number, 615-645-6742. Raymond James and Associates, members of New York Stock Exchange, SIPC. Looking for a sponsor for baseball season? So if you're interested in that, email me. Your logo will appear at the top along with the Wash House and Raymond James. Speaking of the Wash House, they sponsor our football content, our basketball content. Basketball season is presented by the Wash House. You handle the cheering. We'll handle the laundry. With Wash House Laundry Center's new pickup and delivery service, your clothes go from dirty to dazzling faster than a Commodore victory. Whether you're a student or an alum, or a diehard fan, we've got you covered all season long at the Wash House. Schedule your pickup now at washhouseclean.com. Wash House Laundry Center, Nashville's cleanest play for Commodore Nation. Hey, who thought we'd ever be doing this podcast, right? Is that wait and kill time for Luke Wyatt to hop in here? We will take your questions in the mailbag later in the show. We'll take them in the chat, too, so if you've got them there, shoot them your way while I wait for Luke to get in. Our question and answer session, as well as our mailbag, are brought to you by Sutherland and Belk. That is a family-owned injury law firm. If you or a loved one has been hurt in an accident, give Taylor or Russell a call. That number, 615-846-6200. See what your rights are and if they can help. Guest line is presented by John Levin and Womble Bond Dickinson, also Yeaman Packaging Systems, leaders in end-of-the-line packaging automation. They are friends of the show. We appreciate those guys as well. All right. Got a few of you in here already. Again, get in your comments, your chats, all those things. I'll be happy to take some of those as I wait for Luke to hop in the show here in a minute. Got started a little later than we wanted to today, just because some things on my end. Been a busy day. But really looking forward to doing this show, and should have one coming up with Seabass. I think that is planned for tomorrow at 4:30. I'd have to check my calendar on that one, but we'll have another live show coming up tomorrow. I know Billy Derrick is working on the preview show, and we just got a lot of stuff coming here at the Vandy 24/7 podcast. More stuff to talk about than we've had, I think, in a long, long time. So anyway, we welcome your questions, your comments, your super chats. Big news this week, of course, Vanderbilt is getting set to play Missouri. You can see that one 2:30 on your television. That is the ESPN game this week. And, of course, ESPN will be on campus. If you didn't see the announcement, that is going to be at Wyatt Lawn. We'll try to share more details with you. I know a lot of those are up at VU Commodores now, so you can catch all that. Game day atmosphere, man, that's crazy. The last time Vanderbilt hosted game day, that was what? 2008 against Auburn. Much different circumstances in that one. Auburn that year, I can't remember if Auburn was ranked. Vanderbilt was, but that was a much different team. That team was good, but its margins were very small. It had to win by turnovers and just kind of mistakes for the other team. I thought that the signature moment of that season was kind of Brett Upson winning MVP in the bowl game. You guys remember that one if you were there. Brett Upson got MVP because he had a kick, I think, that nicked a Boston College up back, rolled in the end zone, and Sean Richardson landed on. That was the big play of the game. This team's a lot different, as I'm sure you guys know by watching. Really, really physical. That was a topic of conversation this week with Clark Lee. I opened the press conference with that question about your offensive line. Cade McConnell had kind of gone viral with a big play. That if you guys haven't seen Cade McConnell just leveling two LSU defenders, that's going to be a meme one day that shows up on your iPhone one day for domination or something like that. But if you haven't seen it, he literally leveled two LSU pass rushers in the span of about 2 seconds. Now, they were both being occupied by another blocker, but he took care of one and then hopped over and knocked the other one down. And that's kind of the signature of this team. I know Diego Pavia gets all the attention, all those things, and that's great as well. He should. But this is a much more complete team. Hang on just a second. Let me take care of some business. Much different team than we saw last time Vanderbilt hosted game day. Much different team. I think this Saturday is going to be really interesting. I think Missouri is better than people think. In fact, before the LSU game, in my mind, I was more concerned for Vanderbilt about the Missouri game than I was LSU. I think that Missouri is more well-rounded than LSU was. I think LSU's defense was probably a little bit better. Okay, give me just a minute. Luke says he's here, but I don't see him. So I don't know what's going on here. Let me try something else. Hang on. Hold on just a minute. Having some technical trouble getting Luke to join. While I'm doing that, go ahead and get your questions, your comments in. I think we've got a StreamYard glitch here that is preventing him from getting in. Give me just a minute while I text with him. Try this one more time. This doesn't solve it. I'm not sure what we're doing here. Sorry about that. This has never happened in the history of the show. Okay, here we go. There you are.
I don't know what happened. It said I was backstage and I was waiting for you to enter me.
I think we might have had the wrong leak sent. But anyway, hey, welcome. You're live. So
Thank you.
people have been waiting. Trust me. Now that's aside. Luke, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me today. I know it's been a busy day for both of us. How have you been?
I'm great. I'm great. My wife's dealing with some stuff with her mom, but everything else is going great. We're all blessed.
Yeah, I've got a daughter in surgery right now, so prayers for her.
Yeah,
Oral
prayer.
surgery should be okay, but a little bit of a weird deal. So, been a year at the Lee House here. Been a year for Vanderbilt football. Luke, I
Well,
mean, you've been around a long time. You've been around that program longer than I have. Have you ever seen anything remotely like this?
no, and you know what? I had last week. I kind of had a moment when the game was over. I was over there talking to Clark's dad because when Diego went down, I went ahead and got out of my seat and went up to say congratulate his dad and mom, and he was kind of in a tizzy, and I was like, "What's wrong? It's over." He goes, "No, no, it's not." He didn't realize LSU was not out of timeouts, so
Oh,
he thought Diego should have went ahead and scored, I guess. But anyway, so I calmed him down, and then I just had that moment of like, we're in a position that Vanderbilt football hasn't been in a position. So, well, it's been well documented since World War II. It's nothing like I've ever seen. We've had great, I was there during the 9-win Franklin teams, the 82 team, which was very, very good. Some other squads, Bobby Johnson had a couple of good teams. We had spotted, we had blips on the radar, so to speak. But this team has a chance. And again, we could still be a good football team and finish 6-6, Chris. That's the thing, because everything in front of you is, nothing's. It's all one-score games. You're real good at looking ahead to what the lines will be and all that. To me, every game that we have left, the last 5, are all one-score games. And
yeah.
there's nobody more than a 7-point favorite or underdog either way.
Yeah. I mean, it hit me right after the game. Like, nobody's talked about bowl eligibility.
Yeah.
Used to be Vanderbilt football seasons were like, okay, let's count to 6 and see if they can get there and white knuckle the season, hoping you could, which
Sure.
was kind of like the way last year went, even as better as that team has been than it was in a while. That's how this went. And they get to Birmingham having to win a game to have a winning season like that. I don't think that even entered my mind until the game was winding down.
No, and here's what's going to be tough. If we wind up going 7-5 or 8-4, you feel like you're kind of let down, which is weird.
Yeah.
And because we have a chance that's it's something that Vanderbilt football's never had a chance to do. Never. I mean, you can go back to the 1902 and 04 and all that when they undefeated, but it's obviously a totally different game. And it's just something that I'll tell you who I'm happy for. Selfishly myself, but all those guys that have given their blood, sweat, and tears over the years and been heckled and booed and laughed at times, and they can come back and watch this and say, hey, I played on that field, and I'm proud of these kids for doing what they're doing and this coaching staff.
All right. I said before last week, I thought the Missouri game was going to be a tougher win than LSU. Do you agree with me?
% agree. I'm glad you said that. You kind of taken away one of my talking points today. I feel like this game, if somebody goes out there and turns it over 2 or 3 times, they're going to get blown out of off the field, because these two teams are so equal that it's going to come down to those very small margins. Turnovers, getting off the field on 3rd down and long. You bet, and time of possession. Both teams kind of operate the same way. It's in a lot of ways, it's a mirror image. I think you're going to see a low-scoring game because I think both teams will be ready for everything. The key to me, the one big key, is our offensive line. If they keep playing at the elite level, I think we'll win.
If Vanderbilt can do the game control script, I think that helps a lot. Some of Missouri's early games, they were running 80 plays and other teams were only getting off 50.
Absolutely.
And against Alabama flipped that script on Missouri the way that Alabama did on Vanderbilt. Last week, Missouri was more back to business, although didn't do much on offense. but it did run 84 snaps against 71 for Auburn. So, I mean, you've got a team that's averaging 77 snaps a game. Vanderbilt's averaging about 15 less. So I think that the number of plays, if you can keep that down, that's a place where Vanderbilt has obviously had a lot of success. But, I mean, man, Missouri, some of these games, Louisiana had 36 snaps against Missouri. Missouri had 86. That's crazy. So that's kind of a key here.
Yeah. Hardy is a great running back, probably one of the best in the country. We can't allow those. Our run fits have to be good. They have to be better than good. They have to be perfect, or he'll gash you for a long run. I will say this. The one thing that I look for is our pressure again this week. I said it was key last week, and it was. This week's probably even more so, because if you get after Prabula, he has a tendency to throw it to the other team. I think he's got 7 interceptions when he's under pressure. So that tells me we have to get pressure, because he's a lot like Diego, that he can carry the football. He can run. If you give him a run lane, he's going to hurt you. So we haven't played that quarterback since, I guess, Lenore Sellers in the South Carolina game. So that's a worry too. But I do feel like you can rattle him a little bit.
Yeah, he and Nussmeier are very different. Nussmeier, I thought, was tremendous last week.
Oh my gosh!
Vanderbilt spent the day inside his jersey, and like, he didn't make a bad play.
No,
I think there was one play that maybe Mark Davis broke on and got a hand on, but it would have been a difficult pick. I mean, he either hit guys under pressure, or he threw it where nobody was going to catch it, and it's going to be very different. Now, Bo Prabula may take some of those same plays and run with it. He's very fast and very athletic. And that's, I think Missouri's issue is probably a lot like Vanderbilt is and was, especially a year ago with Pavia. Like, how many hits do you want your guy taking? Because he not only will do that, but their pass protection has been lacking at times too.
You know, Chris, we're getting to the point. First about Nussmeier, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. He's an NFL quarterback. There's no doubt. I would draft him if I was a team.
Yes.
Right now, his wheels aren't great. He's got some ankle problems, I think, with both ankles, I think. If you noticed the other night, a couple of times after we hit him, he got up really slowly and hobbled off a little bit until he recovered. But I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought. With Prabula, caging him is huge, because, like I said, I watched all their films already this week. I know I've got no life, but he was all 7 except for 6 of his 7 interceptions have been when you pressure him. And he hadn't sat out there and made a mistake on a read or something. It's just been when you get after him, and we have to do that, because if not, they're going to win time of possession, and we won't have the ball enough.
Yeah, my concerns are when they get him and Hardy downfield, because they're Vanderbilt's downfield tackling has lacked, open field tackling has lacked at times. LSU busted a big run last week, although that was more on the hole it created in the defensive line maybe than anything. And by the way, huge play by Jordan Matthews, running their back down at the 2 and eventually turning a touchdown into a field goal thanks to a false start. But that was one of the biggest plays of the game. But I do worry. Hardy is just so difficult to bring down. I mean, he is physical. Now, he's been slowed the last couple of weeks by Alabama and Auburn. And I'm not taking shots at Vanderbilt's defensive line. I think that the overall group, thanks to the depth, is the best it's been in a while. But I don't know that they've got the stars that Auburn's got Keldrick Falk, who might be a top 5 guy in the draft kind of pick. Alabama's got Tim Keenan and guys that are going to be first and second round picks. I don't know that Vanderbilt's got anybody like that. So a best on best thing could be a little bit problematic for them. They're going to have to really execute here.
Yeah, and tagging on to what you just said, if they don't substitute and they get in a little tempo on you and they don't substitute, that can offset our depth at the defensive line. And they're starting at the 10-yard line, they can go 90 on you.
Yeah. I mean, they're a complete team. I think they're weak on special teams. Prabula's mistakes are an issue. I say they're complete. Offensive line protection has been an issue at times. Their defense, Luke, though, has been really, really good. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that people realize how good their defense is. They held per play. Alabama got held to 4.3 yards. Now, that was a little bit flukish because Alabama kind of got in one of those games where it got just what it needed. It got 22 first downs, and sometimes per play can be misleading if you hang on to the ball and run clock, which is what Bama did. But they haven't given up 6 yards a play to a team yet. Now, I would argue they haven't faced an offense quite like this one. I think Alabama's offense is probably on the whole better than Vanderbilt's, but it's different. It's very, very different.
Let me ask you this: would you win the toss? Would you take the ball? I think that's important.
I think kicking off seems to have benefited them lately.
Well, it has, but in this one, it would be great to start the game with a 7.5-minute drive and a touchdown. I think that's ideal for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've been thinking that most of the season, but if you also get pressure on him and force a mistake and start off with a short field,
oh, that'd be great.
That's also a thing. I don't think I've got a strong feeling.
Yeah, it's going to be a heavyweight fight, Chris. Either way, if I were a gambler, I would not touch this game.
Yeah, I almost feel better about them going to Texas and winning.
Oh,
than I do Missouri.
Stretch. The 4-game stretch, I had the most difficult Missouri, then LSU, then Texas, then Auburn.
Where would you put Tennessee in there?
Well, it's after the off week.
Right.
Tennessee would probably be ahead of Texas and Auburn. And
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean, that could go a lot of ways between now and then.
Oh, yeah. If someone gets a couple of losses between now and then, let's just say Tennessee gets upset by Kentucky. They'll be like rats jumping off a ship.
Right. Which I don't think is likely. I mean, the Oklahoma game for them is a little. The problem with Tennessee is they're not going to have a lot of big wins.
Right. Their 10-2 may not get them in.
Might not. And that's where Vanderbilt's a skin in your favor too. So
correct.
Yeah. God, that'd be wild if Vanderbilt and Tennessee, let's say Vanderbilt's 10-1 going into the game and loses, and Tennessee's 9-2 and wins, and both teams go to the playoff.
Yeah, I'll take that right now.
Yeah, I think everybody would take that. But I mean, there's the playoff discussion, man. That is just
crazy.
Good luck to you trying to figure that out.
Look, how many? To me, SEC could get up to 5 teams.
I think so too. I think you still got like 10 still in the discussion.
Wow. It's going to be fun. This has been a great ride already, and I hope it continues Saturday. It's the game day thing, people talk about distractions. I don't think that'll be a distraction for this team. I remember when game day, I was thoroughly involved in game day the last time it was here in 2008 when Brent Musburger was announcing the game. And it was a huge distraction to me, because I thought it was really cool. But Bobby Johnson did a great job keeping the kids level, and we were able to beat Auburn 14-13 that day. I see a similar type game, man, where it comes right down to the wire.
Yeah. Gosh, we got 28 questions in the mailbag.
Holy smoke, you're popular.
I think it's you, man. Your name's on that mailbag.
Well,
let me let you filibuster for a second while I take care of one item of business. What else are you watching this weekend?
Well, besides the Vanderbilt game, I'm intrigued by the South Carolina game.
Yeah.
I think that could be an upset. I think South Carolina's, they haven't played a good football game yet, a complete football game. Yeah. And I think they still have one in them. They've got enough talent, man. Even though we beat them and had an easy time with them, part of that was quarterback out. I still think they have a game in them where they're going to pop somebody, and this could be the weekend. It really could.
Okay. Was just doing some housekeeping. I've got another show I've got to hop on at 12:30, so we're gonna have to manage our time. I want to talk hoops for just a second before we go to the mailbag. I know you didn't get to see the game. I just wanted to get this out there for people. I thought Vanderbilt looked pretty good. I think their team is going to be fun to watch. I think Virginia is going to be better than projected. Virginia's got 5 or 6 kids who can really, really play. They're not names people know because 3 of them are first-year players. But, it's funny. Like if you listen to to Mark Byington's press conference, and he said, "Hey, don't flip out over the outcome." Almost like we he was saying either way, but it
Right.
almost, when you say that, it's almost more understood like, "Hey, don't flip out because we didn't look great." And they did have some problems in the post, but Virginia's going to give a lot of people problems in the post. I think that the Harris edition is going to be really good for them. He and Nickel on the wings are just going to be a headache, especially in together. You throw a Tanner in there. Duke Miles was like, man, I really undervalued what he's going to bring. I just really like their parts. Now, their bigs are going to have to step it up. I felt like they ended up too often with, good grief, McLaughlin having to chase down guys and grab and hang on for dear life at times, one-on-one in the post, undersized, without a lot of help. Kind of like he did at times last year. Nicholson was kind of a non-factor, and the kid Washington from UNC was a non-factor for about the first 3 quarters. I thought the last quarter he played pretty well. So maybe that's a preview what's to come, but I thought on the whole they looked pretty good.
I listened to the broadcast. I didn't obviously I saw a highlight film that was on YouTube for 8 minutes. Duke Miles, man, I don't remember him being that good against us. I know the Oklahoma game we got blown out last year, but I just don't remember him being as good as he looked the other night. He was fantastic. And Tyler Tanner has gone through the roof, I think. His confidence level with the ball. He was cautious last year, I thought. Just I don't want to make a mistake. Well, he looked free and easy the other night. Now, that's an exhibition game, and it's a small sample size, all that. But I'm excited about the perimeter play and the guard play and shooting the basketball.
Yeah.
There's a night where we're going to hit 15 to 18 threes, I think.
Yeah, they were a better shooting team than people realize. This team is a collection, shot 38% from 3 last year, which you will take that any day.
Any day.
That's outstanding. They didn't shoot free throws worth a flip the other night, though.
Yeah, those.
And I think they'll be a better free throw shooting team than that. But like that denied them the opportunity to really have it one of those games where, like, inside the final 2 minutes, it was completely settled. I never felt like they were going to lose that game, but that kept it more interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me grab the mailbag. By the way, breaking news of interest. Not that this is a shock. Apparently, on Three's reporting, the Giants are finalizing a deal to hire Tony Vitello as their manager. Just got a text as we're doing this. It's officially he's leaving, which is what I'd heard was going to happen last night. So, let's see. Mailbag. Let's see how we shuffle through these. Some of these we've already covered. I like this one. Nashville Steam. The guys that pick Missouri to win say Vandy won't be able to run the ball. Missouri allows 2.7 a carry. The only teams Missouri's played that have a pulse, Alabama and Auburn, have had success on the ground. A Cobb for 111 and Miller for 85. Are they as good as the numbers suggest? Or was a case of the bad teams inflating the numbers? Can we have some success running the ball? I'll look some stuff up and give you first crack here.
Well, except for Diego and Eli, the best part of our football team is that offensive line. Those 5 guys, and you can throw Porsche in there as well, have been awesome. And I don't how you grade out and all that. I know everyone's seen what the play that our left guard made the other day. That's not easy, man. When you get a guy come off and keep your feet moving and plant a guy. They have just been not flawless, but they have gotten better and better each game against stiffer competition as well. And I think the confidence level, and I've said it all year, Jordan White's the best center in the country. Anybody better than that?
Well, to sidestep the question for a second, the minute I started thinking week 2 and 3, this team might end up being really good, better than people think, because I watched the line of scrimmage. I've never seen them play like that on the offensive line. That's why I've been thinking people have kind of been sleeping on them for a while and writing off as a Pavia thing. I'm like, okay, you guys aren't watching them play up front because they are big and they are physical. Missouri, here's some interesting stuff. Alabama got 4.3 on rushing plays. I'm sorry, 3.8 sack adjusted rushes. And then Auburn got 5.0. Auburn's a pretty good rushing team. Some of that is Jackson Arnold. Now, here's where they've been just really stingy at times. 4.3 a pass play that takes sacks off passing yardage. Now, that was certainly bolstered by a minus 0.7 against Louisiana, which I think was playing a backup quarterback. Their guy got hurt, and that got ugly. But, yeah, I mean, even Alabama, 5 yards of a pass attempt adjusted for sacks. I mean, you know how good Ty Simpson is. Now, South Carolina, of all teams, lit them up in the passing game. I don't understand that. That was their worst performance. But, yeah, I think their secondary isn't like something that people talk about, but I think a lot of that's credit to their front seven.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now, one thing that Missouri does, again, that at times their play calling, I'm not being critical. I guess I am being critical of their offensive coordinator. I scratch my head sometimes at the play calling. I watched part of the Alabama game, there was a couple of drives, they're getting 5 and 6 yards a pop, and all of a sudden they throw it 4 straight times. So they could do us a favor in that vein as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Stevie U98 asked if I have a projection for Vanderbilt's final record based on current data. I do keep power rankings and use those to project lines. They're usually pretty good. Here's what I've got currently. Vanderbilt is, I'll round off to the nearest half point. Let me find it. 2-point favorite over Missouri. The line, I think, is 2.5, maybe. Was 6 point was 2.5. Did it fall?
Well, I haven't checked it today.
Okay. Texas, they'd be about a 6-point dog. Auburn, they'd be a 5-point favorite. Kentucky, they'd be a 13-point favorite, and they'd be a 3-point dog at Tennessee.
Okay, so if we beat Missouri Saturday, the Texas line will switch probably, I would think.
I think Texas will still be a favorite.
Oh, they will be a favorite.
Yeah.
It won't be.
I mean, yeah, the analytics are still real close to what, like, I'll give you an example. Missouri was a 1.5 dog at Auburn last week, which was consistent with analytics.
Sure.
But I watched those two teams play. It's like, I don't know how you take Auburn in that game. Haven't watched them both. And that's how it played out, although it took overtime. But, okay. Yeah, Trey said, ran the All-State Simulator, had us hosting Tennessee in the first round. Knoxville would burn. That would be amazing. Ticket prices for that would be something else. Yeah, V.U. Williams says, funny that the volleyball match and game day is held on the same ground that a man named after a man who was one of the biggest enemies of Vanderbilt athletics. Yeah, having game day on Wyatt Lawn, I wonder if that was as much symbolic as anything, kind of send a message that, hey, admin is more bought in than it's been in forever. And so we're going to do this right here. I don't know if that was just the biggest space available or what you think, but I found that interesting.
Yeah. The last time game day was here, they had it at the Commons because it was brand new then. So they had it over by the Commons. This is a larger space, and it's probably, honestly, take the name off of it, it's probably the best place to have it.
Yeah. If you got Vandy, one Vandy football alum to this team, who would it be? That from cousin CJ.
Woo. For Saturday or for the year?
I don't know. Is there a difference?
Yeah, there is. I mean, it depends on the matchups. For Saturday, I would want Jordan Matthews.
I thought about that.
Just an extra receiver, pressure valve release.
I'm thinking
Oreo
defense, Oreo, or put Oreo out there. I mean, he could get after someone. Gosh, my thoughts are all over the place. Like a run stuffing defensive tackle would be up there, although they haven't had many of those. Maybe one of the, and they're good at linebacker, but they don't have a stud there. Like plug in a Chris Gaines or a Jamie Duncan. That might be where I'd go. A lockdown corner, Corey Chavis, somebody like that is always a great pick. Although I don't know that that's Missouri. That's another thing. They're funny in the passing game because like I watched them early in the season, and Coleman and Johnson and Norfleet were a handful to cover.
Yeah.
But now that they're getting pressure on him, that cuts down his windows. And like I thought those guys would be up there in terms of your leading receivers at the end of the year in the SEC, but it's not playing out that way. I think to me with Hardy, you want a big physical linebacker who is a sure tackler. And I hate it because I like Longwell and Patterson and Ronaldo, those guys, but they've all got weaknesses that I think if you plugged in, a Jamie Winborn would be another one. Plug in one of those guys, I think you upgrade there.
Agree.
Let's see. Vandy Danger wants to know if you have any Joe B. White stories about athletics. Let's table that one because I'm sure you do, and I'm got about
you got
10 minutes.
That would take the rest of the show.
Devillion wants to know, do they get the deep ball issues worked out this year? I guess I hadn't really thought about that much because they've been so good everything else, but they have been like Richardson had a ball hit him. It was not an easy catch looking over his shoulder, but the ball was perfectly thrown. They really haven't hit I guess they hit Hoskins against Utah was the last really big one they hit downfield, maybe.
Yeah. Well, wasn't there one in the South Carolina game too?
Yeah, but that was before.
Yeah. There haven't been many.
No, that I hadn't given that much thought. Jerry Lawless 3 says Pavia Lawn has a good ring to it. I agree with that. Nashnator, where do you rank the Vanderbilt offensive line in the SEC?
Got to be top 3. Has to.
I can't think off the top of my head who's better.
I can't either. Now
it's not Georgia.
Nope. It's not Alabama.
I don't think it's Alabama. It's definitely not LSU. I don't think it's Ole Miss.
It's not Texas. You basically look at those top 10. It's not Tennessee. I don't know. To me, they may be the best. I don't know.
They might be.
They certainly last week was about as immaculate as you can play.
And it's not Oklahoma either. It's definitely not Texas. I can't name a team I think is better than them up front.
No.
By the way, this kind of occurred to me this week. The last 2 fall camps, I have never – I don't feel like maybe – okay, you go to 20-something of them. You think you have an idea of what you're watching and what to take away, and usually I do. The last 2 have been – I think have carried less meaning. Pavia didn't do anything 2 fall camps ago that I saw of note with any consistency. And then, I think Clark probably got irritated with me because I'd ask him after every practice, hey, man, these offensive line issues with penalties and stuff. And those were an issue earlier in the year. But that didn't – I wonder now, do they do a better job of putting their guys in position to work on the stuff that needs work and just hammering that and hammering that and hammering that over and over until by the time they get to the season, it's worked out? I wonder if they put their guys in position to do really tough things they've got to work on and just do that over and over in practice to where it is going to look bad in August. But by the time they get to September, it's been worked on so much it looks differently.
Well, a lot of times in camp too, you have to understand after a few days, they know each other so well. They know their steps. They know what they're going to do. They can guess the play coming by the formations better. So it's just difficult for either side of the ball to look great at times.
Yeah.
If one side of the ball that's looking great in camp, you got a problem.
Yeah.
I can remember Jerry DiNardo, the first year I'm standing with his dad at practice, and he goes, Luke, I have a concern. I said, what's that? He goes, every time we throw the pass, it hits the ground. Yeah. He said, even with no one defending.
I saw a few Mason camps like that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And oh man, we're limited here.
Yeah. Did not see that this year. Okay, I like this one. Captain Cook, still concerned about Cedric Alexander not being 100%. Only 4 carries at Bama after one huge break-off TD run. Heard the announcer say he was in the injury tent or locker room. That was true while watching the LSU replay. He did come back. Any insight on what's nagging him and how much that's hampering his ability right now?
It was cramps. That's it.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Thought it was. He was fine. He just dehydrated.
Yeah, he's been so good. And really this week with the linemen they've got, the Youngs and those guys, like he is, I think his playing time, Young's been really good in backing up. And I don't know what Young grades out as a blocker, but I just feel like you can trust Cedric Alexander for anything you put him on the field for. And by the way, I'll admit I was wrong about something. There was one guy on our board that I don't always agree with, and a lot of people don't, but he was very vocal about the offensive line was going to help Alexander. And he was right.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I mean, what was the stat that Clark said on Tuesday? They were, I think, 125th. What was the metric? Is basically like,
yeah. Now we're first.
Was it where you're hit on first contact on rushes or whatever, and they're leading the country in that now?
Yeah, and it's
like
true.
Completely flipped. Yeah.
Play where the LSU guy had said squared up for a 2-yard loss, and he wound up gaining 4.
Yeah.
First guy usually don't get. He's a one cut back. He's a guy. He gets that one cut and he takes it forward, puts his shoulder pads in the line of scrimmage, and those are my favorite kind of backs.
Yeah. It's good to put a guy out there that you know you can trust for anything and everything. Okay, this might be the last one we have a chance to get to. Foghorn, in most of the board's lifetimes, we've only experienced 2 successful football regimes, the James Franklin era and the Clark Lee era. Compare and contrast these 2 eras in terms of quality, sustainability, institutional support, and general vibes around McGugin and fans.
Okay, today's a totally different thing with NIL and transfer portal. So you really can't compare them. We have moved into a new era.
So yes and no.
Well, that's interesting because I started looking, and I don't want to take anything away from those teams that James Franklin had, but Tennessee, Florida, some of those teams were not what they usually were.
Right.
Give us credit that we won. Like Kentucky was really down. I think we beat them 40-0 or something. Ole Miss. Yeah. So there were some teams that normally a Vanderbilt may not win that we controlled. Should have won 3 in a row against Tennessee during that. They had the overtime loss with the weird call on the field goal block or something. But that's my take is that the conference is so good now, and the transfer portal and NIL, it's a different deal to me.
Well, where I agree with you is the conditions have brought the game back to Vanderbilt more than Vanderbilt has just gone out and gotten it in a lot of ways. Like they waited 3 years to react to NIL.
Yep.
Which I've got some thoughts that occurred to me while Clark was talking about that the other day that maybe we'll unpack on a different show. Like they waited. That was right there for the taking. They didn't go out and get it.
Yep.
Whole AD didn't do it.
Right.
That's one thing. So now that they have, but they also had to like do the common sense things, like do some admission stuff. And like, now that they've done that, like, I think that the recipe for success with the conditions are like this, like they're not going to be this good next year. I'd be shocked. But I think when I used to think, okay, maybe they can win 7 games every 3rd or 4th year and, and then go into rebuild. Now I think they've got a chance to be competitive most years, a chance.
I agree with that.
And I did not agree with that, ever think that, but now that they've done this stuff, they just basically, it's like if somebody writes you a check, Luke, it's not money till you cash it and deposit it in the bank. They just had to make some basic pivots on doing stuff that everybody else did that they made. Now, I think that's where the chancellor helped them a ton. I think Zeppos was spineless and didn't, I don't think Nick cared about much but himself. I think the chancellor figured out a long time ago that sports can make an impact and they're valuable. So I think that's the governor of all this. It's the conditions and the guy at the top. As far as the coaches, I think both of you and I both really like Clark and respect him. I don't think either of us trusted James as far as we could throw him. Really good football coach, but there was some stuff that came with that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, I agree with that. But again, we were developing offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and you can't win in the SEC by doing that.
Yeah.
We weren't. When is the last time that we physically were better than LSU? Never. Even when we beat 90, 24-21, played them close there under Bobby Johnson and lost. But that was because we just happened to make plays. They may have a turnover or two.
Well, and you solved all that with NIL and the graduate school pivot.
Absolutely.
Case closed.
That's it.
Now you can get guys you couldn't even dream of getting before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. Luke, we're out of time. I've got to hop. I'm actually doing a playoff stream here in about 4 minutes at Southeastern 16. You can, spoiler alert, turn over there, see if I've got Vandy in my bracket if the season ended today. I will be doing that in a minute and talking about the picture. Any parting thoughts before we let you go here?
No, I just think it's going to be as great of an atmosphere as it was this past weekend. It's going to be that and more this weekend. And I think there'll be more Vanderbilt fans in the crowd than there were last week as well.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Luke, for joining me. We'll be back next week. I think Seabass and I should record tomorrow. That's the plan. We'll go live with that one. For Luke Wyatt, I'm Chris Lee. God bless you. Thank you for watching. This is Vandy 24/7's podcast presented by FanDuel.